Hello and welcome to this week's Gold and Silver Club weekly commodities review presented by myself, Phil Carr, and Nick Cowsey at the Gold and Silver Club. Today we will be reviewing the latest developments in the commodities markets. We'll be analysing the week's performance. The live session will cover an end of week summary for the metals, the energies, agriculture. We'll be looking at gold, silver, oil, natural gas and coffee amongst other commodities. We'll be looking at the top trades of the week. We'll be covering a live market commentary and technical analysis, as well as looking at the week ahead. So key events, looking forward, and of course answering any questions you may have too. So the gold price this week has been very lucrative. We've seen, in terms of news, the commodity price surge as tension in Iraq increases the safe haven demand. Iraq is back in the news headlines again this week as a surge of violence across the country 3 years after US troops withdrew has raised the prospect of a return to civil war in OPEC's second biggest oil producer. This week, the militants seized major cities in Iraq, along with the town of Baiji, home to Iraq's largest oil refinery that has a capacity of producing 310,000 barrels of crude oil a day. In total, Iraq's combined oil output was 3.3 million barrels a day last month, making it the second biggest producer in the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, after Saudi Arabia. So as 17% of the country's oil reserves are located in the areas threatened by the militants, the escalating violence has raised concerns of a possible supply disruptions in the region, driving crude oil prices to 9-month highs just today. On Friday morning, WTI rallied to 106 US dollars a barrel, a level that it last touched in September 2013, whilst Brent crude oil climbed to $114 a barrel, a level it was last seen at in August 2013. In other commodity markets, gold price soared to a 3-week high as risk factors in Iraq boosted demand for the precious metal as a safe haven, and reports on Friday indicated Iraq's government has requested assistance from the US to carry out strategic airstrikes against the insurgents. So if the tension continues to intensify and the US is forced to intervene, this is likely to push gold and oil prices moving higher into next week. I'm Phil Carr, professional trader, trainer and speaker. I'm the co-founder and director of the Gold and Silver Club. I specialize in teaching people how to make money from trading the most lucrative financial markets in the world. So gold, silver, oil, natural gas, agricultural commodities. I've trained thousands of individuals to become independent traders and successfully manage their own investment portfolio. And I'm responsible for the research and development of the Gold and Silver Club trademark strategies that have a proven track record of generating returns for traders. Also a regular contributor to a number of financial publications, speak at numerous trading seminars, webinars and workshops. Joining me in running the Gold and Silver Club is Nick Cowsey, professional trader, investment analyst and speaker. Nick began his career within private wealth management in 2002 before making the transition into proprietary trading, and prior to co-founding the Gold and Silver Club spent over 5 years coaching professional fund managers and traders internationally for some of the world's top tier hedge funds and investment banks. Through his first-hand relationship with some of the world's most successful traders, discovered the formula, mindset and tools that can give any individual the definitive edge to trade in any economy, and also regularly writes for a number of global business and financial publications who appeared frequently on financial TV. So that's just a bit of background on the Gold and Silver Club, guys. So now we'll take a look at the price of gold at the moment. So we're currently trading at $1,273 per ounce. We'll look at the technicals very shortly. Prior to doing that, we'll just take a look at the top trades of the week using the Gold and Silver Club signature trading strategies. So the following are the top trades. First of all, on Tuesday this week, we had a great buy opportunity for a breakout on platinum. We had a lovely move of a 270-point breakout. The risk on that trade was 90 points, $900 risk for each lot traded for a profit of 270 points, so $2,700 for each lot traded for a lovely 3-to-1. On wheat this week and earlier on the week as well, on Tuesday we triggered for a sell short. On wheat had a lovely move on that. Risk on that was 90 points, $900 risk for each lot traded for a profit of 190 points, so 1,900 US dollars for each lot traded for a 2-to-1. And the real big mover this week has been Brent crude oil. Had a lovely breakout on this market yesterday, had a 300-point move. Risk on that was 70 points for each lot traded for 700 US dollars. Risk for a profit of $300. So 300 points. Each lot traded was 3,000 US dollars profit for a 3-to-1 on Brent crude oil. So some lovely top trades, and also an opportunity again to sell short platinum after the big move. We then got a complete retracement. The risk on the trade, 70 points there for a profit of 220 points, so 2,200 US dollars for each lot traded. Okay, so with that, we'll go over to some live market technical analysis, and we'll take a look at how the markets are looking at the moment, okay? So first of all, we'll just bring it out and we'll have a look at a bird's eye view, and we can see which markets are in play at the moment. So first of all, I want to take you over to the futures contract at the moment for WTI crude oil, light sweet crude oil. We've had a lovely move on this yesterday, huge surge up in price. We've come up even further, in fact, today, and you can see we've broken out to in the region of about 300 points since yesterday's breakout. Now today, what I would keep an eye out, we've got a big inverse hammer on the daily time frame, and we could well see a retracement and see the market just come back down again in order to take out some of the profits here. We'll see how the Iraq tensions, if they calm down over the weekend. We may see, if things do escalate over the weekend, a gap up in price on oil on the Sunday open, so I would be careful of that. But at the moment on the daily, we produced a nice gravestone doji on the daily, and we'll see whether we get a sell-off and a retracement back to the lows here, coming all the way back to the initial breakout that we had just yesterday on WTI. On Brent crude oil, if you just on the futures contract, but if you actually go out to the historical chart, you'll see we've come up to a major level of resistance here at the 114 level, and also we've got an upward trending trend channel where the market has just found resistance actually today. Huge spike here on Brent crude oil, even more so than WTI since yesterday's breakout. In fact, we've moved here in the region 450-point move in just over 24 hours. So you can see, obviously, we are getting some profit taking at the moment around these levels, and we may get a bit of a retracement as we go into next week. It really does depend on whether we see any escalations within Iraq over the weekend, or whether things calm down into next week. We've also got the FOMC announcement next Wednesday, which is certainly likely to cause more volatility on the markets. Natural gas, similar situation. We've been in a nice upward trending channel on nat gas throughout really the last 3 weeks or so. Came up to the top of that resistance channel, which just show you here. We've come up to the top of that resistance channel, starting to get a little bit of a sell-off at the moment. Got a nice upward trending channel. Again, as we go into next week, I'm very curious to see whether we'll get some sell short opportunities to take us back to the lows of this week as well. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that on the energies, whether we will get some profit taking and a retracement as we go into next week. If we take a look at the platinum and palladium markets, palladium is certainly one we want to be watching. So at the moment on palladium, we had this huge pullback yesterday. We had circa, so let's just take a look from the highs down to the lows. It's been over a 500-point move in just over 24 hours on palladium, a big pullback. But if you just draw a very straightforward trend channel on palladium, you'll actually see we've come down, we've bounced right off that channel, and I wouldn't be surprised here to see a lot of traders go and get some value here at the moment on this current pullback. We've been in a very strong trend so far in 2014. We've come right down to a key level of support, which has held actually today, and if we do get a bounce and all the way back up to 2014 highs, we've got in the region of about a 500-point swing trade here for palladium. So I think this is definitely one to watch and see whether this is going to represent a nice pullback opportunity for a buy. If we look at the platinum market as well, platinum has come back, had a nice pullback as well. You can see a nice little trend channel where the market has found a bounce just today. This was the move that we got last week, or earlier on this week, which started towards the end of last week. Nice bounce off this trend line, got a really decent move to the upside over a 280-point trade. We've then come back and retraced, and we're sitting right at the low of this trend channel at the moment. So similar to palladium, we want to see whether platinum is going to get a bit of a bounce off this trend channel and start representing an opportunity to get in long at these levels. On that note, we'll have a look at other metals at the moment. So gold has been one of our top trades of the week this week. We've had a really nice V-shaped reversal which broke out to the upside this week. We did discuss this last week as well. We have actually come up to a key level of resistance here. So if you go on the chart, you'll see the 1277 level here represented support going into beginning of April 2014. That was tested several times during the beginning of May. It's now become resistance, and I would be watching out here for a potential for a sell-off as we go into next week. We've got a nice downward trending channel here, nice V-shaped reversal which has come up and hit its profit target, and we may be seeing some, we might start to see a bit of a reversal in gold as we come into next week. And we've got some key news announcements to watch out for as we go into next week as well. We've got the FOMC announcement on Wednesday. I'll talk you through the additional announcements we have as well, but gold looking very interesting here. Nice inverse hammer actually forming on the daily as well. I would keep an eye on gold here and see whether we're either going to get a breakout from this 1277 level or a reversal and a move back down within the overall downward trend on gold. Silver also a very interesting one. Silver, in fact, if you want to just zoom out, you go out just very simply to the last 3 years of silver, you can see we're actually testing the upper end of this trend channel. So you've got a very key level of resistance, very key trend line. We've just come up, tested the 1957 level today. So this is an event area. We would expect here either a breakout from this trend channel, or we're going to get a reversal. We're going to come down and take out the 18 level and take out really some key levels of support here. So silver looking very interesting indeed. So I think you'll agree the metals are definitely in play at the moment, and the other market which has been very lucrative over the last week is copper. Copper continues to break down. If you go over to just zoom out on the chart, I'm on the futures contract, but if you go over to the spot price and take a look at the historical chart, we've been in a downward trending channel for about 3 years on copper, and we're now looking to take out last week's lows here, ultimately to come back down to test the 3.00 level, and we'll see whether we get further opportunities to sell into copper next week. We do normally tend to get a bottom in terms of seasonality with copper towards the end of June and beginning of July. We'll be watching out for that, but we haven't bottomed out just yet for the copper market. Other markets which have remained quite lucrative and we want to keep an eye on as we go into next week, they will include, we just go over to the coffee market. Coffee looking very interesting here. Just go out to the daily. Bit similar to gold here. We had this U-shaped reversal pattern here. It started to get a breakout to the upside, in fact, today, starting to close above the 175 level, and it's looking pretty good for a potential reversal here on coffee. Again, if you go out to the historical chart, you'll see the 165 level, very key level of support, which is holding at the moment. So coffee, we could be due a nice move to the upside as we go into next week. Wheat, the trend is really your friend at the moment. Wheat, we're just continuing to set off, break lower here. In fact, even today, we're taking out yesterday's lows, so I would expect more momentum to the downside for wheat here for the time being. Corn as well, no real major signals for corn to turn around just yet, so keep an eye on corn as well. The trend again is your friend on corn whilst we continue this very strong downward trend. And cocoa as well, cocoa doing very well to maintain its upward trend. In fact, this week we've broken out to the upside on cocoa, broken out to 3-year highs here. I'll just take it out into the overall, the larger time frame here, and you can see the very clear trend channel we've been in on cocoa in 2014, and we're just continuing to stay within that nice strong upward trending channel. So cocoa looking good here as well for a continuation to the upside. Again, the trend is your friend on this market as well, and I would certainly keep an eye on cocoa for buy opportunities as we go into next week as well. Okay, fantastic. Right, so with that, guys, we will take a look at the key news announcements which are going to affect the markets, commodity markets, in the week ahead. So these are the 6 announcements we want to look at. Monday the 16th of June at 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. That rates the relative level of general business conditions in New York State. A level above 0.0 indicates improving conditions, whilst a level below indicates worsening conditions. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar, and we'll have that inverse correlation with gold and silver. Next Tuesday, 17th of June at 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US Core CPI. So the Consumer Price Index CPI measures the changes in the price of goods and services, excluding food and energy. So the CPI measures price change from the perspective of the consumer. It is, of course, a key way to measure change in purchasing trends and inflation. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, and a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar. Wednesday, the 18th of June at 3:30 p.m. BST, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US crude oil inventories. That data reports the number of barrels of crude oil commercial firms have in their inventory. So commercial firms report their inventory levels to the Energy Information Administration on a weekly basis. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for crude oil prices, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. Then next Thursday, we have the US initial jobless claims, 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And also just going back to that, on next Wednesday, we have the Federal Reserve announcement. Okay, so that's going to be, that will be from 7:30 p.m. BST next Thursday. So that's going to be the 7 o'clock will be the statement, and then we'll have the minutes at 7:30 p.m. BST. That's going to be a huge mover next week on Wednesday. Next Thursday, the 19th of June, 1:30 p.m. BST, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the US initial jobless claims. That data measures the number of individuals who filed for employment insurance for the first time during the past week. That is the earliest US economic data. Week-to-week numbers can be volatile. Again, a higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar. A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. Thursday, the 19th of June at 3 p.m. BST, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we then have the US Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. That index rates the relative level of general business conditions in Philadelphia. A level above zero on the index indicates improving conditions, below indicates worsening conditions. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish for the US dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish. And then we have on Thursday, 19th of June, 3:30 p.m. BST, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, we've got the US natural gas storage report and the Energy Information Administration. They provide the natural gas storage report measuring the change in the number of cubic feet of natural gas held in underground storage during the past week. So again, very tradable announcement. A higher than expected reading should be taken as bearish for natural gas, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as bullish. Okay, so those are the 6 major news announcements, and of course the FOMC that we need to take into account into next week. And of course, for those of you who want to take your trading to the next level and learn how to trade specifically the commodities markets with the Gold and Silver Club, courses are available at our international trading centers and online. You can find out more about June and July courses very simply. You can either contact one of our international offices, either call us at Hong Kong, Budapest, Johannesburg, New York, or our London office, or very simply go to www.jointhegoldandsilverclub.com and request further information on the Gold and Silver Club coaching programs and live trading rooms. So if you'd like to learn more about commodities, do that. And make sure you take advantage of our newsletter. So you'll receive free weekly report, of course, on the precious metals, energies, and agriculture for the week ahead. So do take advantage of that as well, guys. Okay, fantastic. Right, so with that, I wish you good luck for the rest of the day's trading, especially next week. And we will definitely catch you back here same time next week. And guys, we shall see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Have a great weekend. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.